My girlfriend hit a TikTok with 400,000 followers for 4 years, then told 35,000 strangers she'd outgrown her situation while secretly taking our son to tour schools in California. When I confronted her, she rolled her eyes and said, "You make it sound so calculated," then picked up her phone and said, "I really need to take this. The house in Manhattan Beach might have other offers." I didn't say a word. That was 3 weeks ago. Last night, she posted a final video with no makeup, disabled comments, and said, "Sometimes the life you build online isn't worth losing the one you had offline." Yesterday, I stumbled upon my girlfriend's secret TikTok account, a world she'd meticulously hidden from me for years, yet was apparently common knowledge to many others. My brother, bless his tech-savvy soul, had come over to help me wrestle with my perpetually malfunctioning laptop. As we were taking a much-needed coffee break, he got this peculiar, almost hesitant look on his face and dropped a question that sent my world spinning. "Hey man," he started, "I've been meaning to ask, but it's kinda weird. Why doesn't Madison ever post any videos with you on her TikTok?" I remember chuckling, telling him she barely touched social media, probably had a handful of followers, mostly family, so it wasn't a big deal. That's when his jaw practically hit the floor. "No, dude," he said, his eyes wide. "I'm talking about her big account, the one with all the followers, not her private one." My brain just short-circuited. I stared at him, completely bewildered, and managed to stammer out, "What in the actual hell are you talking about?" He quickly pulled out his phone, navigated to TikTok, and showed me an account. I leaned in closer, my heart racing as the screen loaded. With trembling fingers, I watched him tap the screen, revealing an account with over 3,000 videos and nearly 400,000 followers. My stomach dropped as I searched for it on my own phone. User not found. She'd blocked me. My brother and I sat in stunned silence, scrolling through endless content. Half the videos featured Madison in revealing outfits I'd never seen her wear. String bikinis, crop tops, tiny shorts, dancing at beaches, pool parties, and friends' homes. The woman who wore comfortable sweaters around me had been creating content for hundreds of thousands of strangers. Some videos included our son, but most focused solely on showcasing her body. The thought of our 12-year-old knowing about this account made me physically ill. The upload dates revealed a calculated pattern she'd filmed during my monthly business trips. 4 years of deception, starting in early 2018. I checked our mutual connections with growing dread. While none of my male relatives followed the account, every single one of her female friends and colleagues did, along with several male co-workers. My brother admitted he'd only discovered it when someone at his gym mentioned Madison's TikTok fame, assuming I knew. The betrayal cut deeper with each revelation. This wasn't just about hidden videos. It was about an entire secret identity she'd cultivated while I remained oblivious. She'd never expressed interest in social media fame, never hinted at wanting online validation. Yet here was evidence of a massive following she'd deliberately hidden from me and my family. The contrast between the Madison I knew and this online persona was staggering. While I'd been content with our quiet life, she'd been living a double existence, transforming from modest girlfriend to internet sensation the moment I left town. Every book club meeting, every casual outing with friends now seemed suspect. How many times had she lied about her whereabouts? How many people in our social circle had known while keeping me in the dark? Since yesterday, my phone hasn't stopped ringing. My brother, my parents, everyone who'd been deceived trying to help me process this revelation. Meanwhile, I have to pretend normalcy when Madison comes home, acting as if my world hasn't imploded. The hardest part is knowing how many people watched her videos while maintaining friendly facades with me. Friends who'd shared meals at our table, colleagues who'd attended our gatherings, all complicit in this deception through their silence. The realization settled over me like a shroud. Everyone had known except me. Even our son, our innocent 12-year-old, privy to mommy's TikTok fame, while his dad was completely, utterly clueless. I'm left wondering if I'm less important to her than the fleeting attention of 400,000 anonymous followers. Also, whoever else has seen her in these videos, in real life, without me ever suspecting a thing. It's a betrayal that cuts deeper than I ever imagined possible, leaving me to question everything I thought I knew about the woman I love and the life we built together. As I was spiraling deeper into this rabbit hole, a notification popped up on my brother's phone. Madison had just gone live on TikTok from what looked like a hotel room. When we joined, she was telling her followers that she was finally ready to reveal the exciting secret she'd been keeping for months. My hands shook as I watched Madison adjust her phone camera, settling into what looked like an expensive hotel suite. The background showed plush furnishings and floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking a city skyline I didn't recognize. She wore a tight red dress I'd never seen before, her hair and makeup professionally done. "Okay, my loves, I can see you're all here," she said, beaming at the camera with an energy I'd never witnessed in our years together. The viewer count climbed rapidly. 5,000, 10,000, 15,000 people watching live. Comments flooded the screen faster than I could read them. My brother grabbed my shoulder. "Maybe we shouldn't watch this," he said, but I couldn't look away. Madison was practically glowing, gesturing animatedly as she spoke to her audience like they were her closest friends. "So, as you know, I've been hinting about some big changes coming," she continued, twirling a strand of hair around her finger, "and I've finally gotten everything in place to share it with you all." The comments exploded with heart emojis and speculation. People were guessing everything from pregnancy announcements to brand deals. My stomach churned as I realized these strangers knew her mannerisms better than I did. First, I want to thank you all for being so patient and supportive, Madison said, placing her hand over her heart. You've been with me through this entire journey, and I couldn't have done any of this without you. Done what? My mind raced through possibilities, each more devastating than the last. Had she been planning to leave me? Was this her way of announcing our breakup to 400,000 people before telling me? She leaned closer to the camera, lowering her voice conspiratorially. So, drumroll please. She paused dramatically, and the comments section went wild with anticipation. I'm officially launching my own fitness and lifestyle brand. The hotel room erupted with balloons and confetti, clearly pre-planned. Someone off camera handed her a champagne glass, and I caught a glimpse of a man's hand before it disappeared from view. My blood ran cold. This has been months in the making, Madison continued, practically bouncing with excitement. I've partnered with some incredible investors who believe in my vision, and we're going to revolutionize how women approach fitness and self-care. My brother's phone buzzed with notifications as Madison's followers shared the stream. The viewer count had reached 25,000. She held up a sleek box with her name emblazoned across it in gold letters. The first product line drops next week, she announced, opening the box to reveal workout gear, supplements, and beauty products. And here's the really exciting part. I'm moving to Los Angeles to oversee everything personally. Moving to Los Angeles. The words hit me like a physical blow. We lived in Ohio. We had a life here, a son in school, my job. When had she planned this? How long had she been preparing to uproot everything without even mentioning it? I know some of you are wondering about my personal life, Madison said, and my heart stopped. And yes, this does mean some big changes there too. I've outgrown certain situations, and it's time to embrace who I really am. The comments flooded with support and questions about her relationship status. People were asking if she was single, if she was dating someone new, if this meant she was leaving her boring boyfriend. Words that stung even from strangers. I'll share more details soon, she said with a wink. But let's just say I'm finally prioritizing my happiness and surrounding myself with people who support my dreams. My brother turned to me, his face pale. I'm so sorry, man. I had no idea it was this bad. I couldn't respond. I watched as Madison popped the champagne, laughing as it overflowed. Other people joined her in frame, all strangers to me, all clearly part of this secret life she'd built. They toasted to her success while I sat in my living room, watching my relationship crumble in real time. Oh, and one more surprise, Madison said, setting down her glass. I'm doing a meet and greet tour starting next month, 5 cities, and I'll be selecting some lucky followers to have dinner with me in each location. She rattled off cities: Los Angeles, Miami, New York, Chicago, Dallas, places she'd supposedly visited for work conferences or family obligations. Now I wondered if those trips had been real or just more lies. I should probably mention, she added, almost as an afterthought, that I'll be handling some personal matters back home this week before the big move. Nothing major, just tying up loose ends. Loose ends. That's what our 12-year relationship had become. A loose end to be tied up before her new life began. The stream continued for another 20 minutes. Madison showed off more products, answered questions from followers, and shared her journey to self-discovery. She talked about feeling trapped, about hiding her true self, about finally having the courage to live authentically. Each word felt like a knife twisting deeper. Remember, loves, she said as she prepared to end the stream, never let anyone dim your light. Sometimes you have to choose between comfort and growth wins every time. The stream ended with her blowing kisses to the camera, promising more updates soon. The viewer count had peaked at 35,000. 35,000 people had just watched my girlfriend essentially announce the end of our relationship without ever mentioning my name. My brother set his phone down slowly. What are you going to do? I stared at the blank screen, trying to process what I'd just witnessed. Madison would be home tomorrow, expecting to find the same oblivious boyfriend she'd left behind. She had no idea that her carefully constructed double life had just come crashing down. I need to pick up our son from school soon, I said, my voice sounding hollow even to my own ears. He gets out at 3:30. Do you want me to come with you? My brother offered. I shook my head. No, I need to think. I need to figure out what to say to him. How do you tell a 12-year-old that his mother has been living a lie? That she's planning to move across the country for a life that doesn't include us? My phone buzzed. A text from Madison. Hey babe, meetings are going great. Can't wait to see you tomorrow. Love you. The casualness of it, the easy deception, made me feel physically sick. How many similar texts had she sent while planning her escape? How many I love yous had been hollow placeholders while she built her empire of followers? My brother gathered his things, pausing at the door. Call me if you need anything, and I mean anything, okay? After he left, I sat in the silence of our home, though it didn't feel like ours anymore. Every photo on the wall, every shared memory, now felt tainted. I walked through the rooms, seeing them differently. The office where she claimed to work on her boring spreadsheets probably hosted her video editing. The guest room she'd converted to a yoga space was likely her filming studio. I found myself in our bedroom, staring at her closet. How many of those clothes had been bought for her secret life? How many shopping trips had been for outfits I'd never see her wear? My phone rang. My mother. News traveled fast in our family. Honey, your brother just told me. I'm so sorry. Do you want me to come over? Not yet, Mom. I need to process this. That woman, she said, her voice tight with anger. We welcomed her into our family. She sat at our Christmas table last week knowing what she was planning. Christmas. Just a week ago, we'd exchanged gifts, made plans for the new year. Madison had given me a watch watch with an inscription, "To many more years together." The irony wasn't lost on me now. "I have to go get Jonathan from school," I told my mother. "Does he know?" "I don't know what he knows anymore," I admitted. "Apparently, he knew about her account. Who knows what else she's told him." The drive to school was a blur. I sat in the pickup line, watching other parents scroll through their phones, and wondered how many of them followed Madison. How many had watched her videos while making small talk with me at school events. Jonathan bounded out of school with his usual energy, tossing his backpack in the back seat. "Hey, Dad, can we stop for ice cream?" "Sure, buddy." I watched him in the rearview mirror, trying to gauge what he might know. He seemed his normal self, chattering about his day, complaining about homework. At the ice cream shop, I finally broached the subject. "Hey, John, can I ask you something about Mom's TikTok?" He paused mid-bite of his chocolate cone. "Oh, you found out about that?" "Yeah, I did. How long have you known?" He shrugged, suddenly very interested in his ice cream. "I don't know. A while, I guess. Some kids at school showed me like 2 years ago." 2 years. My 12-year-old had been keeping this secret for 2 years. "Why didn't you tell me?" "Mom said you wouldn't understand. She said you didn't like social media and it would just upset you." He looked up at me with worried eyes. "Are you mad?" "Not at you," I assured him. "Never at you. I just wish someone had told me. She made me promise," he said quietly. "She said it was our special secret and that you had your work stuff and she had this." She said all families have secrets. All families have secrets. What else had she been teaching our son while I wasn't paying attention? We finished our ice cream in relative silence, Jonathan occasionally stealing glances at me as if trying to gauge my mood. On the drive home, he finally spoke again. "Dad, is Mom leaving us?" The question hit me like a punch to the gut. "What makes you ask that?" "She's been acting weird lately, packing stuff, talking about new adventures, and she cries sometimes when she thinks I'm not looking." I gripped the steering wheel tighter. "I don't know, buddy. We'll have to talk to her when she gets home." That evening, as Jonathan did homework and I pretended to cook dinner, my phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Friends who'd discovered the truth reached out with shock and sympathy. My brother sent screenshots of Madison's older videos, trying to establish a timeline of the deception. One video from 3 years ago caught my attention. Madison was at a beach I recognized. We'd gone there for our anniversary, but in the video, she was alone, wearing a bikini I'd never seen, talking about living her best single life. We'd been together 9 years at that point. I scrolled through more videos, each one revealing another layer of deception. Madison at parties I'd never heard about. Madison trying on expensive clothes at boutiques. Madison getting her nails done at salons she'd claimed were too fancy for her taste. The timestamps showed these activities happened during her supposed grocery runs, gym sessions, and coffee dates with friends. Jonathan appeared in the doorway, homework finished. "Dad, can I ask you something?" "Of course, buddy." He shifted uncomfortably. "Mom said she's taking me somewhere special this weekend. She made me promise not to tell you, but..." He trailed off, looking conflicted. My chest tightened. "Where did she say she was taking you?" "She said we were going to look at schools in California." The room spun. Madison was already planning to take our son away. She'd been laying groundwork, preparing Jonathan for a move I knew nothing about. I pulled him into a hug, trying to keep my voice steady. "Thanks for telling me, John. You did the right thing. Are we moving to California?" His voice was small, uncertain. "Not without talking about it as a family first," I assured him, though I had no idea what would happen next. After Jonathan went to bed, I sat at the kitchen table with my laptop, diving deeper into Madison's online presence. Her followers had created fan pages, compilation videos, even discussion forums. One thread caught my eye. Madison's mystery man. Who is he? The comments were filled with speculation about her relationship status. Some claimed she was single. Others insisted she had a secret boyfriend. A few mentioned seeing her with different men at various events. My stomach churned as I read timestamps and locations, cross-referencing them with my calendar. Every business trip I'd taken had coincided with sightings of Madison with unknown men. My phone rang. It was my coworker, Dave. "Hey man, someone showed me. Look, I had no idea Madison was doing all this online stuff. You knew about her account?" There was an uncomfortable pause. "My wife follows her. She showed me a few months ago. I thought you knew, or I would have said something." Months. Dave had known for months while I remained clueless. Who else knows? Pretty much everyone at the office, I think. The wives all follow her. They talk about her workout tips and stuff. After I hung up, I checked my work email. Sure enough, subtle clues emerged in hindsight. Comments about Madison's busy schedule, questions about her projects, remarks about her looking great lately that I'd attributed to general politeness. They'd all known. The next morning, I called in sick to work. I couldn't face the knowing looks, the whispered conversations that would stop when I entered a room. Instead, I drove to Madison's mother's house. If anyone might provide answers, it would be her. Catherine answered the door, her expression immediately guarded when she saw me. "Oh, hello. I wasn't expecting you. We need to talk about Madison." She hesitated before letting me in. We sat in her living room, the same place where Madison and I had announced our pregnancy 13 years ago. The irony wasn't lost on me. "You know about her TikTok account," I said. It wasn't a question. Catherine sighed. "She's just expressing herself. You've always been so controlling about her appearance, her friendships. Can you blame her for wanting some freedom?" Controlling? I was stunned. I've never told Madison what to wear or who to be friends with. You made her feel like she had to be this perfect, modest girlfriend. She felt trapped. So instead of talking to me, she created a secret life? She's planning to move to Los Angeles, Catherine. She's been looking at schools for Jonathan without telling me. Catherine's composure cracked slightly. She's doing what's best for her career. What career? She works in accounting. Not anymore. Catherine pulled out her phone, showing me a business registration. Madison started her her company 6 months ago. She's been working with investors, setting up distribution channels. This isn't some hobby. She's built a real business. 6 months. While I'd been supporting what I thought was our shared life, Madison had been building her exit strategy. And you knew all of this? She's my daughter. Of course I knew. What about Jonathan? Did you think about what this would do to him? Catherine's expression hardened. Madison is a wonderful mother. She's providing opportunities for Jonathan that you never could. I left Catherine's house feeling more betrayed than ever. Even Madison's family had been part of this deception. On the drive home, I noticed a familiar car at a coffee shop. Madison's best friend, Sarah. I pulled in, deciding it was time for more answers. Sarah saw me coming and tried to leave, but I caught up with her. Please, I just need to understand. She looked around nervously before gesturing to a corner table. 5 minutes. How long have you known? Since the beginning, she admitted. Madison needed someone to film her sometimes, help with lighting. I've been her unofficial assistant. 4 years. You've been lying to me for 4 years. I wasn't lying. I just didn't tell you. There's a difference. Is there? All those times you came over for dinner, played with our son, acted like my friend, that wasn't lying? Sarah shifted uncomfortably. Madison said you wouldn't understand. She said you'd try to control her, make her stop. I would have wanted to talk about it, figure out why she felt the need to hide this from me. Really? Sarah leaned forward. Would you have been okay with your girlfriend posting videos in bikinis for strangers? Would you have supported her building a brand around her body? I would have supported her being honest with me, I said. I would have supported us making decisions together. Sarah pulled out her phone, scrolling to Madison's account. Look at these comments. Look how happy she is. When's the last time you saw her this excited about anything? I watched a recent video of Madison laughing with friends at a pool party. Sarah was right. She looked genuinely joyful in a way I hadn't seen in years, but that joy had come at the cost of our relationship. Who are the men? I asked. The ones people have seen her with? Sarah hesitated. Business partners, investors. Nothing romantic, I swear. How can I believe anything you say? Because I'm telling you now. She showed me photos from various events. This is Marcus. He owns a supplement company. This is David. He runs a marketing firm. And this is Alex. He's helping with the Los Angeles move. She's really doing it? Moving? The lease is already signed. She found a great school for Jonathan, close to the beach. She's been saving money from sponsorships and appearance fees. Appearance fees? Sarah winced. She gets paid to show up at events, promote products. She's been putting it all into a separate account for the move. Another secret. Another betrayal. I stood to leave, but Sarah grabbed my arm. She does love you, she said. She just loves herself more. And maybe that's not a bad thing. I drove home in a daze, trying to process everything I'd learned. Madison had built an entire business infrastructure, planned a cross-country move, and established financial independence, all while I'd believed we were partners. That afternoon, I picked up Jonathan from school early. We needed to talk before Madison returned. I took him to the park where he'd learned to ride a bike, where we'd spent countless father-son afternoons. John, I need to tell you something about Mom and me, I began. You're getting divorced, aren't you? His voice was matter-of-fact, resigned. What makes you say that? Mom's been different, happier, but also sadder. And she keeps saying things like, when we're in our new place, instead of when we get home. My 12-year-old had picked up on signs I'd missed entirely. How do you feel about possibly moving to California? He kicked at the ground. I don't want to leave my friends, or you. You wouldn't leave me. No matter what happens, I'll always be your dad. But Mom said you probably wouldn't want to come with us. She said you like your job too much to leave. Another conversation I'd been excluded from. Madison had been preparing our son for a future without me, planting seeds of separation while I remained oblivious. What else has Mom told you? Jonathan looked uncomfortable. She said sometimes people grow in different directions, that it's nobody's fault. It just happens. Do you understand what she means? I think so. Like how I don't like the same toys I did when I was little. People change. His simple wisdom broke my heart. We sat in silence, watching other families play, until Jonathan spoke again. Dad, are you mad at Mom? I'm hurt, I admitted. I wish she'd talk to me about how she was feeling. She said you wouldn't listen. I would have tried. That's what she said you'd say. That evening, I went through our financial records. Madison had been careful, but not perfect. Small withdrawals here and there, purchases that didn't quite add up. I found receipts for photography equipment hidden in her desk drawer, business cards for Madison Fitness tucked inside books. The doorbell rang. It was my brother, carrying takeout. Figured you might not feel like cooking, he said. We ate in relative silence while Jonathan did homework. After he went to bed, my brother helped me piece together more of the timeline. Look at this, he said, showing me a gossip blog about fitness influencers. She's mentioned here, back in 2019. They called her an rising star to watch. 2019. We went to couples counseling that year. She said she was feeling unfulfilled, wanted to find a hobby. Guess she found one. I laughed bitterly. 400,000 followers worth of hobby. What's your plan for tomorrow? I don't know. Confront her? Pretend I don't know? Pack my things and leave? You have a son. You can't just leave. She's planning to take him to California. My brother whistled low. Can she do that? I don't know. I need to call a lawyer. I know someone. I'll text you his number. After my brother left, I sat in the dark living room, Madison's TikTok playing on my phone. Her most recent video was from that morning, a workout routine filmed in the hotel gym. She looked radiant, confident, alive. The woman I'd fallen in love with 13 years ago had become someone I didn't recognize. A comment caught my eye. Girl, you're glowing. Single life suits you. Madison had replied with a winking emoji. Single life. She was already presenting herself as unattached while I waited at home, believing in our relationship. I scrolled through more comments, finding similar exchanges. Her followers believed she was available, and she did nothing to correct them. My phone buzzed. A text. text from an unknown number. Hey, is this Madison's boyfriend? This is Alex from the LA team. Just wanted to confirm she'll be able to tour properties this weekend. She said you were cool with everything, but I like to double check on big decisions. Thanks. I stared at the message. Madison was planning to look at properties in Los Angeles this weekend. She'd told this stranger I was cool with everything, while telling our son they were just looking at schools. I typed back, thanks for checking. What properties are you showing her? The response came quickly. The 3-bedroom condo in Manhattan Beach and that house in Hermosa. Both have great schools nearby for your son. Madison loved the virtual tours, especially the ocean views. She said you guys are ready for a fresh start. We guys. Madison was including me in her narrative to strangers while planning a future without me. I screenshot the conversation, adding it to my growing folder of evidence. Unable to sleep, I drove to the 24-hour gym. I needed to clear my head, to exhaust myself physically since mental peace was impossible. The late-night crowd was sparse, just a few insomniacs and shift workers. Hey, you're Madison's guy, right? I turned to find a young man I didn't recognize. He was holding his phone. Madison's account pulled up. Sorry, I don't mean to be weird. I just recognized you from the background of some videos. I'm a huge fan of hers. She's really inspiring. Inspiring how? Just her whole transformation story. How she went from being this shy housewife to building her empire. She talks about it in her Motivation Monday posts. Shy housewife. Is that how she portrayed our life? What else does she say? The guy scrolled through his phone. Here, this one's my favorite. He showed me a video of Madison talking directly to the camera. Ladies, never let anyone make you feel small, she was saying. I spent years dimming my light to make others comfortable. But you know what? Life's too short to live in someone else's shadow. Take up space. Be loud. Be proud. Be unapologetically you. When did she post this? Like 6 months ago. It went viral. Got like 2 million views. 2 million people had watched my girlfriend describe our relationship as living in someone's shadow. 2 million people had heard her version of our story, believed her narrative of oppression and liberation. I left the gym feeling worse than when I'd arrived. Back home, I found Jonathan awake, sitting at the kitchen table with a glass of water. Couldn't sleep either? I asked. He shook his head. I had a bad dream about moving away and not being able to find my way back. I sat beside him, rubbing his back like I had when he was little. That won't happen. No matter where you are, you'll always know how to find me. Promise? Promise. Dad, why didn't Mom want you to know about her videos? I think she was afraid I wouldn't understand. Do you? Understand? I considered the question. I understand wanting to be successful. I understand wanting to feel special. I don't understand lying to the people you love. Maybe she didn't think of it as lying. Maybe she thought of it as protecting. Protecting what? Her dream. You always say to protect our dreams, right? To not let anyone stop us from achieving our goals? His words hit hard. Had I taught Madison that? Had my own advice been twisted into justification for deception? There's a difference between protecting your dreams and hurting people who love you, I said. But what if you can't do both? What if following your dream means hurting someone? Then you talk about it. You work together to find a solution. You don't build a secret life and plan to disappear. Jonathan nodded slowly. Is that what Mom's doing? Planning to disappear? I don't know, buddy. We'll have to ask her tomorrow. After Jonathan went back to bed, I returned to my research. Madison's digital footprint was extensive now that I knew where to look. Instagram stories saved by fan accounts showed her at events I'd thought were work conferences. Twitter threads discussed her best videos, her fitness tips, her relationship advice. The irony was suffocating. One thread particularly stung. Madison's top 5 tips for leaving toxic relationships. The comments praised her wisdom, her strength, her courage. Women shared their own stories of escape, thanking Madison for inspiring them. I wondered if they knew Madison's toxic relationship involved a partner who'd done nothing worse than trust her. My phone rang at 3 a.m. Madison. Hey babe, I can't sleep. Just missing you. Her voice was soft, vulnerable. The Madison I'd fallen in love with. For a moment, I almost forgot everything I'd discovered. Where are you? I asked. Just in my hotel room. The meetings went really well today. I think some big changes are coming for us. What kind of changes? Good ones. Amazing ones. I can't wait to tell you all about it when I get home. When will that be? Tomorrow afternoon. I'm catching the noon flight. Madison. I started, then stopped. This wasn't a conversation for the phone. What is it, babe? Nothing. We'll talk tomorrow. Is everything okay? You sound strange. Just tired. Jonathan had a nightmare. Is he okay? He's worried about moving. There was a pause. Moving? Why would he be worried about that? I don't know. Kids pick up on things. Did you say something to him? About what, Madison? Another pause. Longer this time. Never mind. I should try to get some sleep. Love you. Yeah, you too. After hanging up, I realized that might have been our last normal conversation. By tomorrow afternoon, everything would be different. The pretense would end. The truth would emerge, and 13 years would come crashing down. I spent the remaining hours until dawn writing. Not the angry letter I'd composed in my head 100 times, but something else. A timeline of our relationship. Milestones and memories. Our first date at that terrible Italian restaurant. The night Jonathan was born. Our 5th anniversary trip to the beach. The same beach where she'd later film herself living her best single life. I wrote it all down, trying to find the moment when things changed. When did Madison stop being happy with our life? When did I become an obstacle instead of a partner? When did 400,000 strangers become more important than the family we'd built? As the sun rose, I made breakfast for Jonathan. Normal routine, normal morning, despite the abnormal circumstances. He ate quietly, occasionally glancing at me with worried eyes. Mom gets home today, he said. I know. Are you going to fight? I hope not. But we need to talk about some important things. About California? About a lot of things. Will I still go to school today? Of course. Nothing changes for you, buddy. Not today. After dropping Jonathan at school, I called the lawyer my brother had recommended. The consultation was sobering. California move, custody arrangements, asset division, words that made everything real. Document everything, he advised. Screenshots, financial records, anything that shows deception or planning without your knowledge. I spent the morning following his advice, creating folders of evidence I hoped I'd never need. Madison's flight would land at 2 p.m. I had 3 hours to decide how to handle her return. My phone buzzed constantly. More people discovering the truth, reaching out with shock and sympathy. My mother wanted to come over, but I asked her to wait. This needed to be between Madison and me first. At 1:30, I sat in our living room, surrounded by printed screenshots, financial records, and the letter I'd written. The house was quiet, waiting. 13 years of life together, and it had come to this. Me, sitting alone, preparing to confront the stranger I'd thought I knew. My phone showed Madison's flight had landed on time. In 30 minutes, she'd walk through our door, expecting her oblivious boyfriend, her secret intact, her double life continuing smoothly. She had no idea that everything had already changed, that her carefully constructed walls had crumbled, that the man she'd left behind 3 days ago no longer existed, replaced by someone who'd seen behind the curtain. I heard her car in the driveway, the familiar sound of her keys in the lock. My heart pounded as the door opened, as Madison walked in with her suitcase, calling out her usual greeting. "Honey, I'm home." The normalcy of it, the casual deception, made my chest tight. I stood slowly, papers in hand, ready to shatter the illusion once and for all. Madison appeared in the doorway, travel-worn but smiling. Her expression changed the moment she saw my face, the papers, the laptop open to her TikTok page. "We need to talk," I said. Madison's smile froze, her eyes darting between my face and the evidence spread across the coffee table. She set down her suitcase slowly, her movements suddenly cautious. "What's all this?" Her voice carried forced lightness, but I caught the tremor underneath. I held up one of the screenshots. "Your TikTok account, the one with 400,000 followers, the one where you've been documenting your single life for 4 years." The color drained from her face. She opened her mouth, closed it, then tried again. "I can explain. Can you explain the business registration? The lease in Los Angeles? The school tours you've been taking Jonathan on without telling me?" Madison moved further into the room, her hands fidgeting with her phone. "How did you find out?" "My brother showed me. Apparently everyone knew except me." She sank onto the opposite couch, still clutching her phone like a lifeline. "I was going to tell you." "When? After you'd already moved? After you'd taken our son across the country?" "It's not like that." Madison's voice grew defensive. "I've built something amazing, something that could change our lives." I picked up the financial records. "You mean change your life? You've been siphoning money into a separate account, planning your escape while I paid the bills." Madison stood abruptly, pacing to the window. "You make it sound so calculated, wasn't it? 4 years of videos during my business trips, blocking me on the platform, having our son keep secrets from me." She whirled around. "You would have made me stop. I would have wanted to understand why you felt the need to hide it. Because you've never supported my dreams." The words exploded from her. "You're content with your boring job, your routine, your predictable life. I wanted more. So you built a secret identity instead of talking to me?" Madison grabbed her phone, pulling up her account. "Look at this. Look at what I've created. I have sponsors, investors, a real business. I did this myself, while lying to me every single day. I wasn't lying. I was protecting what I'd built until I was ready." "Ready for what?" She took a deep breath. "Ready to give you a choice. Come with me to Los Angeles or stay here, but I'm going either way." The ultimatum hung between us. I stood, gathering the papers. "You already made that choice. You've been making it for 4 years. Madison's phone buzzed. She glanced at it, and I saw her expression shift. "I have to take this. It's Alex about the properties. The properties you told him I was cool with?" She had the decency to look guilty. "I thought once you saw the opportunities." "I saw your live stream yesterday, the one where you called our relationship a situation you'd outgrown." Madison's hand stilled on her phone. "You watched that? Along with 35,000 other people. At least they got the truth." Her phone rang insistently. She silenced it, but it immediately rang again. "I really need to take this. The house in Manhattan Beach might have other offers." "Take it." I headed for the stairs. "I'll be packing Jonathan's things for the week. He's staying with me." "What?" Madison followed me. "You can't just decide that. Like you decided to plan our son's future without me? That's different. I'm his mother, and I'm his father, the one who hasn't been lying to him for years." I entered Jonathan's room, pulling out his duffel bag. Madison stood in the doorway, her phone still buzzing. "Please don't do this," she said. "Not today. I just got home. To tie up loose ends, right? That's what you called us on your live stream." I packed Jonathan's clothes methodically while Madison watched. Her phone rang again. This time she answered, turning away. "Alex? Yes, I'm here." "No, everything's fine." She glanced at me. "Can I call you back in an hour? Something's come up." I heard Alex's voice through the phone, asking about the property tours. Madison's responses grew increasingly strained. "I said I'll call you back." She ended the call, turning to face me. "Are you happy? You're ruining everything I've worked for." "I'm ruining it? I'm not the one who's been living a double life." "You don't understand what it's like!" Madison's voice rose. "To feel invisible in your own life. To have dreams bigger than grocery shopping and PTA meetings. We have a son, Madison. Sometimes life isn't about chasing fame. It's not about fame. It's about feeling alive. When's the last time you felt truly alive?" I zipped Jonathan's bag closed. "Every day. When I wake up next to someone I trust. When I help our son with homework. When I live an honest life." "An honest life?" Madison laughed bitterly. "You mean a small life?" Her phone buzzed with notifications. She glanced at it, and I saw her TikTok app lighting up with comments. "Your followers need you," I said. "Don't be like that." "Like what?" "Hurt that my girlfriend values strangers' opinions more than her family?" Madison's phone rang again. This time time, she didn't answer. I never meant for it to happen this way. How did you mean for it to happen? She sat on Jonathan's bed, finally setting her phone aside. I thought I could balance both lives. Keep everyone happy. Everyone except me, apparently. I tried to include you. I suggested we make videos together, remember? You said it was stupid. You asked once, 3 years ago, if I wanted to do a dance video. You never mentioned building an empire. Madison picked up one of Jonathan's toys, turning it over in her hands. Would it have mattered? You've never supported anything that wasn't practical. I supported your book club that turned into filming sessions, your gym membership that became content creation, your work conferences that were actually influencer events. She set down the toy. How long have you known? 2 days. The longest 2 days of my life. Madison's phone lit up with another call. She ignored it, but I could see the stress building in her shoulders. You should answer, I said. Don't let me interfere with your business. Stop it. Stop what? This is what you wanted. The lifestyle, the attention, the constant demands. Take the call. She grabbed her phone, standing abruptly. Fine, but this conversation isn't over. Madison stepped into the hallway, her voice carrying back to me. Sarah? Yes, I landed. No, we can't film today, because I said so. I heard her footsteps heading downstairs, her voice fading. I finished packing Jonathan's things, then moved to our bedroom. My own suitcase came out of the closet. Madison returned as I was packing my clothes. What are you doing? Getting some things together. Jonathan and I will stay at my brother's for a few days. You can't just take him. I'm not taking him anywhere. I'm picking him up from school like always. He'll spend the week with me while we figure this out. Figure what out? I told you. I'm moving to Los Angeles. The question is whether you're coming. I folded a shirt carefully. That's not the question at all. Madison's phone buzzed again. She glanced at it, frustration clear on her face. I have obligations, contracts, people depending on me. What about the people in this room? Do we matter at all? Of course you matter. That's why I want you to come with me. To watch you build your brand, to be the boring boyfriend in the background of your videos. It wouldn't be like that. No? Tell me. In this Los Angeles life, what's my role? Jonathan's? Madison hesitated. You'd find something. There are opportunities everywhere in LA. I have a job here. Jonathan has school, friends. He'll make new friends, better friends, industry connections. He's 12, Madison. He doesn't need industry connections. Her phone rang again. This time she threw it on the bed in frustration. This is impossible. I can't have this conversation with constant interruptions. Welcome to the life you chose. I finished packing my suitcase. Madison watched, her expression cycling through anger, frustration, and something that might have been regret. I never wanted to hurt you, she said quietly, but you did. Every day for 4 years. I was trying to protect you from the criticism, the pressure, the constant scrutiny. Or were you protecting yourself from having to explain why your boyfriend didn't fit your image? Madison's phone buzzed with texts. She picked it up, scrolling quickly. The Manhattan Beach property is getting multiple offers. I need to make a decision today. Then make it. She looked up from her phone. Just like that? 13 years together and you're giving up? I'm not the one who gave up. I'm just the last to know. I carried my suitcase to the door. Madison followed, her phone forgotten for the moment. What do I tell Jonathan? The truth for once. That you're choosing a life that doesn't include us. That's not fair. I asked you to come. After 4 years of deception. After planning everything without me. That's not a partnership, Madison. I headed downstairs, Madison close behind. In the living room, the evidence of her double life still covered the coffee table. I'll clean this up, she said. Leave it. You might want to review it for your next Motivation Monday post. How to successfully deceive your partner for years. Don't be cruel. Cruel? I'm being honest. Something you might try. Madison's phone rang again. This time she answered immediately. Yes, I understand. Send me the paperwork. I'll review it today. She ended the call, looking at me with a mixture of defiance and desperation. This is my chance. Can't you see that? I see it clearly. I just wish you'd seen our life as a chance too. I picked up my laptop, adding it to my bags. Madison stood in the center of the room, surrounded by the remnants of 2 lives that could no longer coexist. When will you bring Jonathan back? We'll work out a schedule. Through lawyers, probably. Lawyers? Her voice cracked. It doesn't have to be like that, didn't it? You've been planning your exit for months. I'm just catching up. I headed for the door, pausing at the threshold. Madison stood frozen, her phone buzzing incessantly in her hand. For what it's worth, I said. I hope your 400,000 followers are worth it. That's not. I didn't mean for it to end like this. Neither did I. I loaded my bags into the car, aware of Madison watching from the window. As I backed out of the driveway, I saw her finally answer her phone, turning away from the glass. The drive to Jonathan's school was surreal. Other parents waited in the pickup line, living their normal lives while mine imploded. I wondered how many followed Madison's account, how many had watched her transformation while I remained oblivious. Jonathan emerged from school with his usual energy, then stopped short seeing my packed car. Are we going somewhere? We're staying at Uncle's house for a few days. He climbed in slowly. Because of Mom, we need some time to figure things out. Is she still moving to California? I think so, buddy. Jonathan was quiet for a moment. Without us? That's what we need to figure out. We drove to my brother's house in silence. He was waiting on the porch, having cleared space for us without questions. That evening, as Jonathan did homework at my brother's kitchen table, my phone filled with messages. Madison, begging to talk. Sarah, trying to mediate. Catherine, demanding I stop being selfish. I silenced them all. My brother made dinner while I helped Jonathan with math, normal activities in an abnormal situation. Jonathan kept glancing at my silent phone. Is Mom texting you? Yeah. Are you going to answer? Not tonight. After Jonathan went to bed in the guest room, my brother and I sat on his back deck. The stars were visible here, away from the city lights. She called me, he said. Wanted me to talk sense into you. What did you tell her? That she should have thought of that before building a secret empire. We sat in comfortable silence. My phone buzzed occasionally, but I didn't check it. What's your plan? My brother asked. Get through tomorrow. Then the next day, keep Jonathan stable. And Madison? She made her choice. Now I'm making mine. The next morning, I woke early, making breakfast for Jonathan. He appeared in the doorway, hair sticking up at odd angles. Do I go to school today? Of course. Nothing changes with school. But everything else changes? I set down the spatula, giving him my full attention. Some things might change, but not the important stuff. Not how much I love you. What about Mom? She loves you too. That won't change either. But she's still leaving? I don't know, buddy. That's up to her. After dropping Jonathan at school, I drove to work. The normalcy of my office felt strange after the chaos of recent days. Dave approached my desk cautiously. Hey man, how are you holding up? You knew. It wasn't a question. My wife showed me a few months ago. I thought you knew. Everyone thought I knew. Dave shifted uncomfortably. For what it's worth, I think what she did was wrong. I turned back to my computer. Thanks. The day passed in a blur of routine tasks. My phone buzzed constantly. Madison, her mother, Sarah, numbers I didn't recognize. I answered none of them. At lunch, I met with the lawyer my brother had recommended. The reality of custody arrangements and asset division made everything concrete. This was happening. Document everything, he reminded me. Every communication, every financial transaction. That afternoon, I picked up Jonathan from school. He climbed in with less enthusiasm than usual. Mom came to school today. My hands tightened on the steering wheel. What did she want? She brought me lunch. Said she missed me. That was nice of her. She said you won't answer her calls. We're taking some time apart. She was crying. I glanced at him in the mirror. I'm sorry you had to see that. She said she's still going to California. Asked if I wanted to see the house she picked. What did you tell her? That I had to ask you you first. Pride and heartbreak warred in my chest. You did the right thing. Back at my brother's house, I finally checked my phone. Dozens of messages, missed calls, emails. Madison had sent videos explaining, apologizing, justifying. I deleted them without watching. One message stood out, from Alex in Los Angeles. Hey, Madison missed our property tour today. Everything okay? The Manhattan Beach condo won't last long, so she'd missed her appointment. The first crack in her perfect plan. That evening, Madison appeared at my brother's door. He answered while I kept Jonathan occupied in the back room. He doesn't want to see you, I heard my brother say. I need to talk to him, to explain. Maybe you should have explained 4 years ago. Please, just 5 minutes. My brother looked back at me. I shook my head. Not tonight, Madison. Give him time. I heard her car leave, the engine fading into the night. Jonathan looked up from his homework. Was that Mom? Yeah. Why didn't she come in? It's complicated, buddy. Everything's complicated now. That night, after Jonathan was asleep, I sat in my brother's guest room, finally reviewing Madison's messages. Apologies mixed with justifications. Love declarations followed by business concerns. The woman I'd known for 13 years reduced to frantic texts and missed calls. One message stood out. The house fell through. Someone else got it. I need to find another place. Please call me. Her perfect plan was unraveling. The life she'd chosen over us was already showing cracks. I turned off my phone, staring at the ceiling. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, more decisions. Jonathan would have questions I couldn't answer. Madison would continue her pursuit of fame and fortune, and I would continue putting one foot in front of the other, rebuilding a life I thought was solid. My brother knocked softly. You okay? Getting there. Madison posted a video. Says she's taking a break from social media to focus on personal matters. 400,000 followers must be disappointed. The comments are brutal. People asking where she's been, why she's crying in the video. I felt a flicker of something. Not satisfaction exactly, but a grim recognition that choices have consequences. She made her bed, I said. Yeah, still hurts though. Everything hurts right now. The next few days blurred together. Work, school pickups, lawyers, avoiding Madison's increasingly desperate attempts at contact. Jonathan grew quieter, processing the collapse of his family in his own way. On Friday, Madison cornered me in the school parking lot. She looked exhausted, her usually perfect appearance cracked. Please, just talk to me. We're talking. I mean, really talk. Come home. Let's work this out. There's nothing to work out. You're moving to Los Angeles. We're staying here. I don't have to go. I could build a business from here. Because your house fell through? Because your perfect plan hit a snag? Madison's face crumpled. Because I miss you, both of you. You missed us while building your secret life too. Didn't stop you then. I made a mistake. 4 years of mistakes? That's not a mistake, Madison. That's a choice. Jonathan appeared at the school entrance. Seeing us together, he hesitated. Go ahead to the car, buddy, I called. I'll be right there. He walked slowly, watching us over his shoulder. Let me have him this weekend, Madison said. Please, I'll cancel everything. Everything? All your obligations? Your contracts? Your 400,000 followers? Yes, all of it. I studied her face, searching for the woman I'd fallen in love with 13 years ago. She was there, somewhere beneath the influencer persona, but buried too deep to reach. You can have him Saturday, one day, pick him up at 9, have him back by 6. Thank you. She reached for my hand, but I stepped back. This doesn't change anything, Madison. We're done. Don't say that. We can fix this. Some things can't be fixed. I walked to my car where Jonathan waited. In the rearview mirror, I saw Madison standing alone in the parking lot, her phone already out, probably explaining to her followers why she'd been absent. That night, Jonathan asked the question I'd been dreading. Are you and Mom getting divorced? I set down my fork, meeting his eyes. Probably, buddy. Yeah. He nodded slowly, like he'd expected it. Will I have to choose? Choose what? Who to live with? Number never. We'll work out a schedule so you spend time with both of us. But Mom's moving to California. We'll figure it out. The most important thing is that we both love you. I know. He pushed his food around his plate. I just wish things could go back to how they were. Me too, buddy. Me too. Saturday morning, Madison arrived precisely at 9. She'd clearly made an effort. Hair done, makeup perfect, wearing an outfit I recognized from happier times. Hi, she said softly when I answered the door. Jonathan's ready. He appeared with his backpack, giving me a quick hug before following his mother to her car. I watched them drive away, Madison's forced cheer visible even from a distance. The house felt empty without him. My brother was at work, leaving me alone with my thoughts. I tried to distract myself with mundane tasks, laundry, cleaning, organizing the evidence for my lawyer. My phone buzzed. A text from Jonathan. Mom's showing me the videos she made. They're actually pretty cool. Of course she was. Trying to make him understand her side, see her success. I didn't respond, trusting Jonathan to form his own opinions. The hours crawled by. At 4, another text. Mom's crying again. She says she's sorry. Just be kind to her, I replied. She loves you. At 6 precisely, Madison's car pulled up. Jonathan hopped out, waving goodbye as she drove away without attempting to come in. How was it? I asked. Weird. She kept asking if I wanted to be in videos with her. What did you say? That I'd have to think about it. He set down his backpack. She showed me the apartment she might rent here instead of moving. Here? In town? Yeah. She said maybe she was too hasty about Los Angeles. Madison was recalibrating, trying to salvage what she could. But some things, once broken, couldn't be repaired with proximity. That night, I made a decision. Monday morning, I'd file the papers, make it official, stop living in limbo. Sunday passed quietly. Jonathan and I went to the park, had ice cream, pretended life was normal. He didn't mention Madison, and neither did I. Monday arrived with brutal clarity. I dropped Jonathan at school, went to work, met with my lawyer at lunch. The papers were drawn up, ready to file. Once we serve her, there's no going back, he warned. There's already no going back. That afternoon, I picked up Jonathan as usual. We'd established a routine at my brother's house. Homework, dinner, normalcy carved out of chaos. My phone rang as I was helping with math problems. Madison, please don't file the papers, she said without preamble. How did you? Sarah saw you at the lawyer's office. Of course. Even now, her network of informants remained active. It's for the best, Madison. Best for who? Not Jonathan. Not us. There is no us. Hasn't been for years, apparently. I'll give it up. All of it. Delete the account, cancel the contracts, start over, and resent me forever? Blame me for killing your dreams? I won't. I promise. Like you promised to love and be honest with me? Silence stretched between us. Jonathan looked up from his homework, sensing the tension. I'm serving the papers tomorrow, I said. Get a lawyer. I hung up before she could respond. Jonathan watched me carefully. Was that Mom? Yeah. Is she okay? She will be. That night, I couldn't sleep. 13 years ending with legal documents and custody arrangements. The life we'd built reduced to asset division and visitation schedules. My phone lit up with a notification. Madison had posted a new video. Against my better judgment, I watched. She sat in our living room, her living room now, looking directly at the camera. No makeup, no fancy lighting, just Madison, raw and real. Hey loves, I know I've been absent lately. Truth is, I've been dealing with some personal stuff, made some mistakes, big ones, hurt people I love. The comments flooded in immediately. Support, questions, heart emojis, her faithful followers rallying around their queen. I'm taking a real break this time, not just a day or two, but however long it takes to figure out who I am when the camera's off, who I want to be for the people who matter most. She looked directly at the camera, and for a moment, I felt like she was was talking to me. Sometimes success isn't worth the price. Sometimes the life you build online isn't worth losing the life you had offline. I'm sorry it took me so long to understand that. The video ended. Within minutes, it had thousands of views, hundreds of comments, people begging her not to leave, others applauding her honesty. I turned off my phone. Too little, too late. Tuesday morning arrived gray and drizzly, fitting weather for serving divorce papers. I dropped Jonathan at school, went to work, tried to focus on spreadsheets and meetings. At noon, my lawyer called. It's done. She's been served. How did she take it? Quietly, according to the process server. Signed without argument. The finality of it hit me. 13 years, officially over. That afternoon, Jonathan was subdued in the car. Mom came to school again. Oh? Told me about the papers. Said you're divorcing her. I'm sorry you had to hear it that way. She said she deserved it. I glanced at him in surprise. She said that? Yeah. Said she made bad choices and now has to live with them. Madison, accepting responsibility. Another surprise in a week full of them. We settled into our new routine over the following days. Madison didn't contest the divorce, didn't fight the custody arrangement. She canceled her Los Angeles plans, found a small apartment across town. The TikTok account went silent. 2 weeks later, she posted a final video. Jonathan and I watched it together on my phone. This is goodbye, she said simply. Not forever, but for now. I need to focus on rebuilding trust with the people I hurt, being a better mother, a better person. Thank you for 4 amazing years, but it's time to choose reality over the highlight reel. She disabled comments before posting. Within hours, the video had millions of views. Her followers mourned, speculated, pleaded for her return, but Madison stayed silent. Think she means it? Jonathan asked. I don't know, buddy. I hope so. Life gradually found a new rhythm. Jonathan split time between houses. Madison got a regular job, attended therapy, slowly rebuilt her relationship with our son. The divorce proceeded without drama. 6 months later, I was picking Jonathan up from Madison's apartment when she invited me in for coffee. The space was modest, nothing like the Los Angeles dreams she'd chased. Thanks for being fair, she said, handing me a mug. With everything, you could have made it harder. Wasn't interested in revenge. I know, that's what makes it worse. She sat across from me, looking older, tired, but somehow more like herself. I lost myself in that world. The followers, the attention, the constant validation. It became an addiction. And now I'm in recovery, one day at a time. We drank coffee in comfortable silence. The Madison I'd fallen in love with was still there, scarred, but surviving. I'm sorry, she said quietly, for all of it. I know. Do you think we could ever... Number. The word came gently, but firmly. Some things can't be undone. She nodded, accepting. Will you ever trust anyone again? Maybe, someday, when I'm ready. Jonathan appeared in the doorway. Ready to go, Dad? Yeah, buddy. As we left, Madison stood in her doorway, watching. No phone in hand, no camera recording. Just a woman learning to live without an audience. In the car, Jonathan asked, do you think Mom's happier now? I considered the question. I think she's learning who she really is. That's a start. What about you? Are you happier? I'm getting there. And I was. Slowly, carefully, one honest day at a time.